I didn't want to do this video. But Brandon called me out, and rightfully so. See, I didn't want to do this video because I didn't want all of the bad things that were hypothesized in the beginning to have come true, but here we are, so let's get to it. Hey there, Homelabbers and self-hosters, Rich here. You may not remember, but roughly 500 days ago, we made a video on our initial thoughts on the Broadcom acquisition of VMware. At the time that the video was made, everyone was crying that the sky was falling, and our position at the time was to say, now, hold on, let's wait and see how things actually turn out. Well, it took 546 days for Broadcom to finally officially acquire VMware, and now we know how things are turning out for VMware and potentially you as well. So let's dig into it because it's not great. First, a bit of background. The acquisition of VMware by Broadcom began May 2022 when Broadcom first announced its plans for the takeover. This acquisition, one of the largest in tech history, raised concerns among VMware users and employees regarding the future support of VMware product lines by Broadcom. Prior to the acquisition, Broadcom had a history of acquiring companies such as Symantec in 2019 for $10.7 billion and CA Technologies for $18.9 billion in 2018, and then essentially stripping those companies for parts and throwing the rest away. On November 4th, 2022, VMware stakeholders voted to approve the proposed acquisition of VMware by Broadcom. This approval was a significant step towards finalizing the deal, which was expected to close sometime in 2023, starting in November of 2022. The acquisition process faced intense regulatory scrutiny, including investigations by the EU, US, UK, and China, which delayed the deal's completion. These investigations were focused on the impact of the acquisition on the hardware market, among other things. The deal was eventually completed on November 22, 2023, 546 days after the initial acquisition was announced. The acquisition marked a significant shift in the enterprise technology landscape with far-reaching implications for VMware, Broadcom, and enterprise virtualization customers. Now that the acquisition has been completed, we are seeing and hearing what the future of VMware, or as it's now known, VMware by Broadcom, looks like and how it will affect customers and users of the software. When we published our video in July of 2022, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt were intense, with YouTubers and media outlets calling it the end of VMware. Oh, how the sky was falling. Our position at the time was just to chill out and wait and see how things actually pan out here. And now we know. So without further ado, let's dig into what we know, starting with the end of perpetual licensing. Broadcom has stopped the sale of new perpetual licenses for VMware products. This decision is part of a transition to a subscription model, something that was being telegraphed early on in the acquisition. Broadcom sees the transition to a subscription model as a way to provide continuous innovation and flexible solutions to its customers and, of course, boost its bottom line. However, this move has raised concerns among VMware customers, especially those with perpetual licenses, about the potential costs and complexities of being pushed into a new model. I am not a fan of the subscription model for any type of licensing, period. And I'm disappointed that Broadcom has put an end to the perpetual license option, but I also get it. They want reliable, recurring revenue, and you get that by locking your customers into a subscription model. And while I don't think this change will affect enterprises running VMware in their data centers, I do think it'll force individuals and small businesses to look elsewhere for their on-prem virtualization. And I think that's a shame because VMware is versatile for any business regardless of their size. And if that wasn't bad enough, it gets worse for smaller businesses using VMware. Broadcom is officially shifting its strategy for VMware to focus on global enterprises primarily, in an all too familiar strategy we've seen from them in the past. Broadcom did the same thing after acquiring CA and Symantec. At a minimum, it's fair to assume that the deprioritization of smaller companies will mean that VMware as a solution will be less likely to suit their needs. This right here is the thing that probably bothers me the most out of all the changes we're going to talk about in this video. Broadcom officially stating that their focus for VMware is on global enterprise is a slap in the face to any business invested in VMware that doesn't meet that categorization. And, in my opinion, it's a sign that as a smaller than enterprise business, you can likely expect that the prioritization of features and products that are important to you will likely not be represented in future releases. Also, to be clear, if Broadcom's sights are set on big business with deep pockets, it's fair to assume that eventually you'll be priced out of being able to afford VMware licensing in the first place. Okay, now let's talk about VMware divisions getting the axe. It's now known that Broadcom is going to officially axe Carbon Black, VMware's EDR or Endpoint Detection and Response software, and the entire EUC or End User Compute product offering, meaning no more VMware Horizon VDI. Broadcom expects to carve these off and sell them to potentially other businesses, so hopefully that doesn't mean the end for them, but if you're a Carbon Black or Horizon customer, things aren't looking good and it's time to start evaluating your options. I get that VDI doesn't have the excitement that it once did a decade or so ago, but Horizon is a solid product that is still used by a lot of businesses today, especially in healthcare. And considering that Horizon runs on ESXi, I'm not entirely sure how you fully unwind that from VMware as it is. In terms of Carbon Black, I was really excited to see how VMware was integrating it into NSX to detect malicious interactions between virtual workloads in the data center. That seemed to me a really interesting application of the EDR. Unfortunately, Broadcom doesn't see the value in these divisions any longer, so again, if you're using either of these platforms, it's time for you to start considering your options. There is some good news though, and that is ESXi, vCenter, and vSphere, as we know it, will still live on as VMware vSphere Foundation that looks to be designed for mid-sized to smaller customers. We can also expect to see add-on features to vSphere Foundation that will bundle familiar features like vSAN and NSX. Broadcom has also cut the price of VMware Cloud Foundation by half to entice VCF customers and add higher support service levels in a bid to keep existing hybrid cloud customers and entice them to move to the new subscription model. I'm happy to see that ESXi and on-prem vSphere are still going to be around and that Broadcom sees the value in these core technologies. We still don't know what pricing for vSphere Foundation will look like, and with it now being a subscription model, if you're going to continue to invest in vSphere, you better make sure you're getting value from it. In terms of VCF, I don't see the reduction in cost or increased support levels as anything more than an attempt to keep customers who are wary about Broadcom's ownership and others who are probably in the planning stages to migrate off of VCF and entice them to stick around and adjust to the new subscription model. So what now? If you've gotten this far into the video, you're probably asking yourself, what am I supposed to do now? And as I see it, you have a few different options. Your first objective is to get with your VMware by Broadcom rep to find out what the new subscription model is going to cost you and your business. If the numbers even out, then you can continue on as you are. But if you're not comfortable with Broadcom having so much control over your infrastructure, then I hate to say it, but it's time for you to start working on your transition out of VMware to a different hypervisor. Start looking into XCP&G or Proxmox from the open source side standpoint. Both of those hypervisors are nearly feature complete with VMware, and you can purchase support directly from those companies to help you transition and maintain operations. On the closed source side of things, you can always look at Nutanix as well. It's a great option. Not to mention evaluating if your workloads can be containerized using Kubernetes or Docker and leave OS virtualization behind entirely. For those of you running VMware ESXi in your Homelab, I have good news. As far as I can tell, VMware ESXi Free is and will continue to stay free, so you don't have to worry about being forced to pay for ESXi for a standalone host if that's what you're running now. And for those of you who are VMUG Advantage members, VMUG isn't going away and neither is VMUG Advantage. That being said, I also think it's time to start seriously playing with and considering alternate hypervisors in your Homelab. And that's something that really makes me sad because I'm a pretty dedicated VMware user for a long time, and I'm sad that the reason I'm moving on isn't because of something that's come out that's better than VMware, but because VMware by Broadcom has become a worse option. We'll make more XCP&G and Proxmox videos in the future, so be sure to keep your eye out for those when they come out. And that, friends, will do it for this video. If you liked it, throw us a sub and a like, and if you have a beef with anything I've said here, let me know in the comments below. Special thank you to our YouTube members. You guys help keep the lights on, and we thank you for it. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider becoming a member or buy some of our swag. It all helps us keep making these videos. And now that you finished watching this video, how about checking out this playlist over here of other great Homelab and self-hosting videos we've done in the past. If you're looking for your next great Homelab idea, we can help.